Hello everyone, we're Team 42. So for our world, we're gonna invite Dave as our guest, if you don't mind.
Are we rejecting the?
Oh, sorry about that. and, and just a quick round of introduction.
I'll have Mo grade this one.
Oh. So my name is Jin Yu. I'm the producer slash programmer. The other programmer Chen Guang, and we have two of our amazing artists, Xin Yi and Churin. And last but not least, we have Max, the sound designer.
All right. Peek a book. It's interesting what titles can do to anticipation. All right. I don't know what I'm getting into, but we're gonna do it. All right, we're gonna start.
Okay, class. Big test today. Hope you studied.
Oh, forgot to study.
I feel it.
Maybe I'll just cheat.
Yeah, let's do that.
You better not be doing what I think you're doing.
No, don't worry.
Okay, class. We have an exam today, so get your pencils ready.
Okay, what does sushi say to
All
the
right,
bee?
better check on the kids. Look at me. Keep working on your tests.
Wait, don't look at the teacher.
Eyes on your own paper.
Let's see how they're doing on their tests. You better not be doing what I think you're doing. Nothing to see here. Let's see how they're doing on their tests. Don't look at me. Just doing their tests. Okay, better check on the students. Just doing their tests. All right, better check on the kids. Eyes on your own paper.
It's a little jittery over there. Oh yeah, good idea.
Eyes on your own paper.
Two.
All right, better check on the kids.
Oh, I see.
All right, back to the chalkboard. Let's see how they're doing on their tests. I see you. All right, better check on the kids. You better not be doing what I think you're doing.
Did I get it?
Nothing to
Yeah.
see here.
Woo!
Yeah, and that's everything.
All right, let's talk about this. So you guys are building upon a really clear fantasy, and I think that's the thing I felt the strongest. Like, you put me into a position, and the world sort of like builds upon my understanding of that that fantasy of my role, the circumstances, and now I'm sort of like thinking and feeling about how all those things reinforce that or conflict with that. The beginning, I would admit the title being Peek-a-Book did not lead me to expect that I would be taking a test. I was like, is this like some sort of like storybook? Am I like playing some like kids like reading thing? But when we get to the title screen, like it's clearly not like a kid's storybook. And so like one thing is like the visuals and like giving me that sense of like who like the teacher is not necessarily my friend in this world, and that there's like a relationship there, and like that's really good. Like the whole aesthetic reinforces and sets up like what am I trying to do? So great job of like establishing that feeling of the space, and the fantasy of oh crap, I didn't study, I better cheat is presented really clearly and in a way that gives me that ability to be like, okay, this is what I need to do. And that's, I think, really important. Like, if you didn't have that intro, this is a different world, right? I need to sort of have the stakes set up so that it's like, oh, I have a test and I didn't study. And this is always a challenge in worlds. Like, how do you give a guest like motivation and context and like a sense of like what could go wrong and why they care? And you may get across the sure. And so the picking a fantasy that we can all relate to. Like I think pretty much everyone has had that feeling of needing to perform, to succeed in a test, and not being prepared. And like, what do? So you tapped into an emotion that is very relatable, and that set me up. And then as we're going, like you sort of did a good job reinforcing it, like all the little pieces. I had to learn this world. So this is the balance between sort of the intuition of the fantasy and the reality of the world. And there's like a little bit just taking in the scene. Like we've got the teacher up at the front. I got immediately that there's going to be sort of an attention thing between him looking at me and him not looking at me. I saw the quiz on my side of like what I needed to sort of like, that I didn't have the answers. And I had students. And if I'm sort of like reflecting this back, the student in the middle, I couldn't do anything with because I can't see their paper. Is that correct?
Yeah,
the
that's
student
correct.
on the left, I can see their paper. The student on the right, I can see their paper. And it took me a little bit to figure out. Like I think if you're looking at how to like get the world to connect more with what I'm expecting, I was expecting to have students next to me, not in front of me. I think there's definitely like some like how do you sort of balance out the screen that's sort of working with. But it took me a little bit to learn that. And then the teacher took me a little while to learn that there's a progress meter on the teacher. There's some data here that I still don't know what it does. So talk to me a little bit about like how the teacher works exactly.
Okay, so the bar shows how angry he is and how
Okay.
suspicious he is. So when the teacher is staring at you and you're looking at other people's paper, the anger value is gonna go up.
Yeah, so I think the thing that I like struggled with a little bit was the feedback to me about what I was doing and how the world understood that. And like for instance, I really love the nuance of looking at someone's paper to see it, and then I have to like sort of make it become clear. But I lacked like certainty of was I successful or not. And it's always sort of like a challenge of like when you sort of like scrub away something, did I have to clear it all? Is there one pixel missing? So I think that would be the thing that I struggled with a little bit was like just the certainty on the feedback of is my understanding of this matching how it really works in the world? And I think I got to like 90% for the world, but it took a little bit to get those actual pieces in. But I really liked how all those pieces connected together to reinforce it. I think as I was doing it, I felt like I was trying to sneak glances at a test and to do well. So I think the fantasy came true in a really good way.
Yeah, that was my question to you is, did you feel like you had to be sneaky? And it seems like you got there.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I felt most clearly was he's about to turn around and he sort of announces it, and I have to slam my eyes basically to my own paper. And like that's a really great thing when you can get the interaction, especially it's a physical one, it's one that I'm doing. It's not just like I'm pushing a button, but I'm having to like bring my eyes down and just sort of like focus on the paper. Like that helps me feel that role. And those are really great moments. And I think the matching of gaze control and attention to the fantasy of having to be sneaky with my attention, works really well. I think that's what reinforced it.
Yeah, I think it's just it's a strong choice for an eye tracker. You have these meandering eyes. That's your mechanic. So this idea that you have to look at your paper was a really great choice. I think the layers of the world were really well done. The overall aesthetic is strong. The teacher looked imposing, certainly standing up at the front of the classroom, but then kind of revealing the paper and then washing away the text so it became clear. And then I love the jokes. I mean, you could have just put like some math equations that we would have all known the answer to or not known the answer to. But it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity to add more entertainment, and the jokes were cute and
Yeah,
added
actually,
to it.
reading the quiz questions being like these jokes, it gave me a sense of relief because it meant that I wasn't really going to be quizzed. And like basically the world gave me permission to have fun with this, and the way those questions were phrased like helped reinforce that in a good way. Yeah, I think overall I felt what you wanted me to feel. There was a little bit of like places where I was a little bit confused, but I sort of got through it. And yeah,
It really evoked like early 90s LucasArts games to me. I don't know if you felt that, but the aesthetic and the sound design and the feedback loop of these characters kind of repeating the same feedback to you, but varying it quite a little bit, it all felt really good.
In my head, as I point out the audio design, it felt like things are being repeated, but it didn't feel like it was being repetitious, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So like I didn't get annoyed that I was sort of going through similar patterns of sound design. How much variety did you have in what was being said?
So for each sound cue, we have at least 4 variations.
Okay. No, I
No,
think
that felt good.
I think the
That's my point,
variation really came through, and it made it feel less like a game and more like the experience you're trying to craft. So a lot of good little choices here.
Thank you so much.
Good work.